I would like to emphasize the urgent need to address goal number 5, which endeavors to achieve two key objectives: gender equality, as well as empowering women and girls to fight injustices and unfair treatment they experience. Nelson Mandela opined, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." This was also highlighted by our previous speaker, Martine, really well. This famous quote recognizes the pivotal role of education, as it is through educating young women that gender equality will become inevitable. The courage and inspiration demonstrated by the likes of Malala, who has been tirelessly advocating for girls' education, makes it apparent that this objective, although difficult, is definitely not impossible to achieve. A global commitment to implement a range of programs and legislations to promote education for women is the definite pathway to success. Moreover, discrimination against women is prevalent in the workplace, with the undermining of the care and domestic duties undertaken by women, as well as the infamous glass ceiling that robs women of an equal opportunity to progress in their careers. This goal clearly acknowledges the need for women to have access to leadership at all levels of decision-making in political, economic, and public life. This can be achieved through government initiatives as well as the contribution of the NGOs. For example, last week the charity One Girl launched the October Do It in a Dress campaign to mark the International Day of the Girl Child, October 11. Hundreds of Australian surfers donned school dresses to raise funds and awareness for girls' education in Sierra Leone, where 66 million girls are more likely to be sexually assaulted than attend high school. Another key aspect of this goal is to eliminate all forms of violence and exploitation of women, including forced marriage, genital mutilation, and trafficking. The UN Trafficking Protocol places an emphasis on women and children, as many women who are trafficked for domestic labor also end up as sexual slaves. Non-government organizations such as Project Futures and Anti-Slavery Australia are working vigorously to address this issue. Research further indicates the urgent need for an attitudinal shift of males towards women and violence. This can be achieved through early intervention programs in schools, since human values are entrenched at a very young age. Thus, programs have been implemented in Australian schools to educate the next generation, including the Australian curriculum, to teach them about gender equality and respect. Domestic violence has also taken center stage in Australia this year, with the victim of domestic violence, Rosie Batty, receiving the much-coveted Australian of the Year award. With the death of 66 women to domestic violence just this year so far, laws have been reformed to facilitate effective policing of this offense. Apps like Daisy and Aurora have been launched to support victims of domestic violence. The federal government allocated $100 million, followed by a $60 million package by the state government to provide frontline support and community education programs to keep women safe. Thus, as the UDHR recommends, every member nation needs to implement specific measures to protect women and stop human trafficking to help cease exploitation for women and of women. In life, we make many choices, but is it fair if one of us has to make a choice between drinking dirty water and dying of thirst? Access to clean water and fresh water is essential to our well-being, and Article 25 of UDHR clearly states that everyone has the right to an adequate standard of health. Goal 6 of the SDGs aims to not only ensure the availability of safe and affordable drinking water and sanitation for all, but also develop sustainable practices which protect water resources for future generations. The current water practices potentially have serious consequences for the future. A National Geographic report recently indicated that the world's top 4 irrigators, namely US, China, Pakistan, and India, are pumping groundwater faster than it is replenished, thereby rendering this a non-renewable resource. Water is rapidly becoming a scarce resource also due to climate change. In Africa, one of the main reasons for abject poverty has been attributed to a lack of access to clean water. So, action is needed now, and we need to embrace programs that enable water harvesting, desalination, and recycling of water. The Open Working Group of the United Nations General Assembly, OWG, aims to implement strategies to increase water use efficiency, integrate water resource management, and to protect the water-related ecosystems. The UN Water has been campaigning on water and sustainable development since the Zaragoza conference in January this year and is working on the initiative called the Global Expanded Water Monitoring Initiative, GEMI, to achieve this objective. In Sydney, every new house must install a rainwater tank on their property to get a building approval. The Water Authority, Sydney Water, encourages everyone to become a water citizen by adopting guidelines for safe and responsible water usage. Perhaps we all need to become global water citizens and pledge to adopt sustainable water usage practices. Simple measures like promoting use of recycled paper can help reduce water usage by more than 50%. Or recycle wastewater, which has been extremely successful in the drought-prone areas here in Goulburn. This synergetic approach at the individual, societal, and governmental level seems to be the only way forward to improve water and sanitation management in the world today. Thank you.